Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Thank you, Matthew. It is I wish it were Cocktail Friday, Thursday, before a long holiday weekend. We are almost there, people. We are almost there to 3 days off right in a row. How exciting will that be? Not only is it a 3-day weekend, it is the unofficial kickoff to summer. Does anything get better than that? I did leg day at the gym yesterday, so I am stiff-legging it around the house. My legs are sore. I hate my friend Angela. I love my friend Angela, but I hate my friend Angela. I even cheated a little and didn't do the last exercise on my list because it's a really hard one. And I'm still walking around in severe pain today. So I'm going to start off today with a little bit of a funny story. Actually, a very embarrassing story for myself. I think I mentioned yesterday that I am hosting book club tonight. Very exciting. Very excited to host book club because the book I have chosen is You're a Badass, which, as you know, is my spiritual Bible. And I'm hoping to inspire and motivate my entire book club with this choice. So Joe and I ran out to get something to eat yesterday. We very rarely do that, especially midweek. But I had a friend over for lunch. I had a couple of adult beverages, and I have a hard time stopping after lunch. So I kind of just kept on having a couple more adult beverages until Joe got home. So I was like, you want to go get something to eat? Yeah, let's go get something to eat. But then I was very good. I had soda once we got there, and I stopped for the rest of the day. So I do have some self-control. But we went to a place down the street that we really liked. They have really good wings. And I ran into my friend Cheryl, who we have a friend in common that is in my book club. And she said, yeah, Nancy told me that she's going to your house next week for book club. And I was like, no, it's tomorrow. She's like, oh, I thought she said it was next week. So I'm like, pick up my phone, go to the book club group, look, lo and behold, book club is May 30th. Today is not May 30th. Today is May 23rd. So clearly I'm a week off. How embarrassing. I'm ready for book club tonight. Joe made a lasagna last week. It's been in the freezer. Took it out of the freezer, put it in the fridge. Went to the grocery store yesterday. Got my Caesar salad kits to make up and serve along with the lasagna. Got my snacks ready. Everything's ready to go. No book club tonight. I said to Joe, thank God we ran into Cheryl. How embarrassing would it be when I'm sitting there tomorrow at 5 o'clock going, where is everybody? Why is nobody coming to book club? Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, what about a bonehead moment? Really? And I broke my own rule. I'm like, oh, what an idiot. I tell you, never call yourself names, but I had to with that one. I was like, oh, my gosh. It was just a simple mistake, but with big, consequences if I hadn't figured it out before today at 5. The lasagna would be cooked, everything be ready to go. I'd be like, well, I guess I know what Joe and I are having for the whole Memorial Day weekend. If I had gone ahead and not realized, we'd be eating lasagna all weekend long. So thankfully, I ran into Cheryl. Thankfully, I figured it out, thanks to her. So book club is next week, which gives me another week to refinish my books, which is good. It's all good news. I have to go to Pennsylvania today anyway. So I was, kind of setting myself up for a crazy day. So now it's not going to be so crazy, which is nice. I have to go to Pennsylvania today because I have to go to my hairdresser in Pennsylvania. Ladies, do you know what I'm talking about when you have that perfect hairdresser? And then you do something stupid like move, and they're too far away. I know exactly when I started going to this hairdresser. It was 2009. And the reason that I remember that is because I went to her for the first time right before I went to Vegas. And I have all these pictures of me in Vegas. And I got to tell you, my hair looks amazing. A friend of mine had recommended her to me, and she ended up, she's actually a friend of mine now. We have hung out together numerous times. She came to my wedding. Well, she did my hair and then came to my wedding. But nobody can do the highlights like she can do them. First of all, it's been very difficult for me to find a hairdresser around here because I have to use a certain product. I am a redhead. Reds just fade. It's just inevitable. So this hairdresser, Lori, that I had been going to in Pennsylvania, uses a certain product. And it's little to no fading unless you're out in the sun or, that kind of stuff. So I insist on using this product because I've been a redhead for a long time and I've been through it all. And I know that this one will stay the truest to its color. And not a lot of people offer it. Apparently, it's a little bit more expensive than a typical product. So it's been difficult to find somebody that actually offers that. And then I did find somebody that offered it, and then they stopped getting that product and didn't tell me. And then the next thing I knew, I had mixed-matched hair, and it was horrific. I looked like a clown. So I have tried to go to the current hairdresser that I'm going to now for highlights. They just can't do them exactly the way I want them. My girl Lori in Pennsylvania knows exactly how I like it. Gets it right every time. So I'm not fooling around anymore. I will go around here to my regular hairdresser to get my touch-ups done. But when it's time for highlights, which I usually only get once or twice a year, I got them 3 times last year in like a 4-month span to try and get them right. They were never right. Do you know how much money I spent on 3 times getting my highlights done? Yeah, it was a lot of money, and I still wasn't happy. So I'm making the trek to Pennsylvania. It's usually not a bad thing. I usually get together with my girl Dina and have some lunch or something. She's not available today. That was okay because I thought I had book club tonight and I was going to have to hurry home. Not the case, but I'll come on home anyway and relax a little bit. Now that I'm thinking about it, the earlier I get home, the better, because I know that the onslaught of people will be heading down the shore today. Today and tomorrow, it's going to be brutal. Speaking of which, I went to the grocery store yesterday. It's already mayhem. It's insane. People everywhere. And then to add to the madness, there's a million stockers stocking the shelves. Now, I went about 11 o'clock. I'm sorry. I am pretty sure that the shelves were not emptied in the mere 4 hours from 7 to 11. Why were you're just adding to the madness? Can't you stock the shelves overnight? Why do we have to do it in the middle of the day when I'm blocking aisles? Like I couldn't get through the produce aisle because they have a massive display of watermelons, which takes up almost the entire aisle. And then they were restocking the watermelons. So they were blocking one side of the aisle. So you could only get around the other side of the aisle. And then inevitably, of course, somebody's at that other side looking at produce on the other side of the watermelons. And I can't get through. And I didn't even have a cart. I just had a handbasket. I still couldn't get through. I'm like, excuse me. And then they look at me like I'm bothering them. I'm like, I'm sorry. I just want to walk through. Just want to walk through. That's all. Don't want to bother you. Stop using the entire aisle. It gets so bad at the shop right around here, they put a policeman outside to direct traffic. I'm not kidding you. It's insane. So I had stopped off at Costco yesterday. That was equally insane. And then I went to Walmart. That was all right. I had to wait in line for the self-checkout, which is a rarity. I don't usually have to wait in line for the self-checkout because they have a lot of them. They have like 8. But I did wait. I didn't mind. It was fine. It was a short wait. But then I did have that one lady. You always have that one person. There's somebody in front of me at the self-checkout waiting to get to the self-checkout. And I'm standing behind her, and then this other woman comes up, and she stands not behind me, but next to me. And I'm just looking at her like, are you trying to pull something, lady? Are you trying to get in ahead of me? Like, why can't you just go behind me? Why do you have to cause this extra stress? Now, granted, I'm the one that's stressing about it, so more than likely it's more my problem than hers. But, there's a certain protocol to line forming. Get behind each other. Why are you standing next to me? Are you going to try and dart out and get ahead of me? Just stand behind me. Oh, I just wish I could go off on these people sometimes. So annoying. I wanted to tell you about a movie theater in Texas that is now offering your dog to come along with you. First, I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. And then I read some of the comments on the story, and they're like, yeah, 3 dog barks and you're out of there. Yeah, there might be a lot of barking. It's going to be pretty disruptive to the movie. Now, I could never bring my Tucker to something like that because she would just sit there and bark at all the other dogs the entire time. There is no doubt in my mind that is what she would do. So I'm out when it comes to something like that. But I did think that was a really cool idea. But then again, is it necessary? Do we have to take our dog to the movie theater? It's like 2 hours. I mean, it's kind of cool when you think about it. They're curled up in your lap or, if they're little, if they're big, I'm not sure what you're doing with them. I guess you get them their own seat. I'm not sure. How are they going to sit on that seat that kind of flops down? I know they have the big recliner type seats now, so maybe they don't. Maybe this certain theater has the seats that don't kind of flip down when you stand up. But if they do, I don't think that's going to be a very steady seat for your dog because he's going to be kind of all over the place. I don't know if I'm into this idea or not. I'm not really sure. I know I couldn't take Tucker because she's just a loudmouth. She's this little dog with little dog syndrome. She thinks that she's a badass and she can kick any dog's ass. She is completely wrong, but I cannot explain that to her. She just does not want to hear it. Speaking of dogs, and with the Memorial Day weekend coming up, in our neighborhood, we have a very big fireworks issue. Lots of fireworks go off in our town from Memorial Day every weekend through Labor Day, sometimes longer. They go off again on New Year's Eve, and it's kind of one of the things that, people put us down about. Oh, if you want fireworks, go live over in Beach Haven West. All the snooty people on the island say things like that. It is illegal to shoot these fireworks off, but it's so prevalent. So many people do it. The cops would never be able to keep up with who's doing it. They would probably be done by the time the cops got there. So I don't think they even try to police it, honestly. July 4th around here, it's like a war zone. I mean, there is just fireworks going off everywhere. Everywhere you turn, there's fireworks. Just loud boom, 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 boom. Sometimes it's nice, but a lot of times they're going off when Joe and I are trying to sleep. You know us. We're going to bed at 9 o'clock. So starting Memorial Day weekend, we typically cannot sleep with the window open on weekends for sure. Goes off a little bit during the week here and there too, because again, it's kind of a resort town where we live as well, and people rent houses around here for the week. So, they're noisy and loud during the week as well as the weekends. So we pretty much just use the air from Memorial Day on. Now, we have been sleeping with the window open most of this week. It's been nice. Nice, cool, fresh air. Not used to it. I think it's giving me a little kink in my neck, though. I don't know. But Joe and I both have been saying we have some issues sleeping this week. Maybe we're just not used to the cool air coming in. I'm not sure. But the windows will be closed soon enough because of the fireworks. Here's the other issue with the fireworks. The dogs. So many dogs are petrified of fireworks. And that's what most people are complaining about when they're complaining about the fireworks going off all the time. I mean, there's really just no point in complaining because it's not going to change anything. They're not going to start policing it. There's just no way to keep up with it. I get it. I understand. I don't like it. I do wish that people, and I'm fine with fireworks. You want to set off fireworks at, dusk, right when it gets dark out, 9 o'clock, little 20-minute show. Fine. I'm totally okay with that. But when you're shooting them off at midnight and later and on a Wednesday at midnight, it's too much. It's just too much. You may be on vacation, but not everybody is. And people say to me things like, well, you moved to a resort town. You knew what you were getting yourself into. Oh, you're right. I don't deserve sleep from Memorial Day to Labor Day. You're right. How could I even think that I deserved sleep in those 3 months? Sounds stupid when I put it that way, doesn't it? Anyway, my dog, luckily, not afraid of fireworks. In fact, last July 4th, we actually took a video of her as the fireworks were going off everywhere around us. We were outside on the deck, and we have these sliding glass doors that look into our living room. And she was just in the living room, fast asleep on the floor. They weren't even waking her up. Now, I believe, and I could